Hello and welcome to Quick Tip 45, and in this quick tip we're going to be looking at how we let a receiving program know that a sending program has been turned off using the global dictionary. And this quick tip follows the tutorial 161. In fact, it uses the same code which I've modified in several ways, made it a little more simple. So let me just give you an example of this. Normally we have a chart on the left sharing the data, the average data, with the receiving chart on the right. You can see that those lines, it's the same time frame, same bar length on both charts. So those lines look very similar. Now, I've modified this program such that if the sending program is turned off, and the global dictionary still exists in that case, and then what will happen is that the program, unlike tutorial 161, but this program will continue plotting the value where the sending program was turned off. And what the person asked was, how do we go about changing this, or how do we communicate between the two to tell the receiving program that the sending program has been turned off, status been changed to off, been uninitialized. And you can see here we have the chart, no sending program. Here is the receiving program, and you can see we're not getting any further plots there. So let's look at the programs and quickly go through them. Now, as I mentioned, very similar to 161, a little simpler. I've made it two plots. I've also got rid of the token list and the comma separated string approach to doing this. So just got using the vector, and the big difference is that we're using an uninitialized event, and I'll show you how to set that up in a moment. But we're creating the dictionary, the global dictionary, the same. We're storing the averages into a vector, then we're storing that vector itself into the global dictionary using date time divided by 10,000, 4 decimal places as the key. Incidentally, that means that this will only work on charts where there are going to be the same date time appearing on both. When the last bar on chart, just do this once, we set the recalc to 1, so we get a recalc, and make sure that the receiving chart gets loaded, and then we plot the averages. So that is the sending. Not going to leave it there, going to come back and explain it in a moment, explain the changes. Let me just show you the receiving program. So again, based on tutorial 161, there's the setup, or the variables for the global dictionary and the vector. We've got the update event for the dictionary here, and when that fires, we run another method that we've written called checkkey. And then what checkkey does is it sees if there is the key in the dictionary for the bar that we're working on at the moment. If there is, we then read into a vector, the vector stored in the dictionary for that particular bar. And then what I've done here is I've set the values of that into a couple of variables, value 1 and value 2. And then we've got some functionality which is to do with, has the sending chart been switched off? Based on these conditions, we plot the values on the receiving chart, and then in a one statement we create the dictionary and the vector. Going to be looking at the we also have the global dictionary update event here, just as we did in tutorial 161, and then we run checkkey on every tick of every bar as well. And then we've got the functionality to do with the recalc, and if you're interested in that, please look at tutorial 161. But as I mentioned, and what I'm going to do here, just to show you while we're looking at the program, is I'm going to turn off the sending program, and we'll just see how what happens to the receiving chart as we look at the program. So let's go back to the program and look at how we go about checking if the sending program has been uninitialized. And the uninitialized thing is quite straightforward. What we can do is just click anywhere on the program and go to properties, and if you go to the events and then double click on the initialized, I'll just do it and then I can delete it again, but double click there, we get this event appearing, but also we get something in the designer generated code. And you can see here. So what we need to do is copy that somewhere into our program. Now I've already done this, so we can go ahead and delete this. But I'm just demonstrating that as a way that you can get the code. And so what I'm going to do here is also delete this, otherwise we'll get an error like so. So when the uninitialized event occurs, what we do is we set a value in the global dictionary, which I've called on/off, to be equal to 0. Now, if we're copying the code into this program, what I've done is put into the one statement. So this is the code that was copied from the designer generated code, and that associates the event with the event handler. So simply when we initialize the sending program, we just change an item in the dictionary to be equal to 0. Now, in terms of setting it initially to a value, what I've done is I've done that down here in this recalc area, and I've just set it to 1. That's the sending program. I don't think I made any other changes. This is going to be available for download, or of course, as always, you can type in the program. If you do not need to put in any of the comments, and those are the ones that you're seeing in green. So it's actually quite a small program. But if we go now to the receive, I'll just close that designer generated code screen. We go to the receive. Let's see how we deal with that. So what I decided to do is in the check key, what I've done, I tested to see if the avdict contains on/off, because if it doesn't, then we probably get an error. And then what I'm saying is if it is an historical bar, which is here, then we're going to plot the values anyway. Or if it is a real-time bar, so that is the code there, and avdict on/off is equal to 1, then we plot. So if it's a real-time bar and the sending program has been turned off, that value in the dictionary has been set to 0, then it will cease to plot. What I also do is print a message saying that the sending chart has been turned off. You'll see that is appearing here. Now you'll start to notice a little gap here where we're not plotting. It will become a little bit more obvious as we go on, but you can see there's several bars now where we've not plotted because the sending has been turned off. Let me just have one final look at the receiving program, see if there are anything else, if there are any other things added there that are different. I don't think so. I think it's more or less the same as tutorial 161, apart from we made this change here. And of course, we're dealing with that new value that's added to the global dictionary. So hopefully that's useful to you. Please like the video if you like it, and subscribe, and please join the Markplex mailing list. You'll actually see the logo appearing very soon, and if you just click on that, that will take you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But you can also go to markplex.com to join the email list. And also, you probably, if this was of interest to you, you will also be interested in tutorial 161. So thank you very much.